All right, welcome everyone. Um, so, as some of you know, I'm Faisa Farola, and I work with Global Perinatal Services. We are a nonprofit organization that provides doula services to low-income immigrant refugee communities in King County and Pierce County, in particular, Tacoma. We also provide, parent support groups such as this one here, Mom's Corner, Father to Father, and we do a lot of educational materials is that are all related to pregnancy or early parenting. So today, we're going to be talking about anemia during pregnancy, and this is a topic that we've had. Multiple people ask for us to do and just to shed some light on it. And so we wanted to go ahead and do this because it is an important element to have, you know, when you're pregnant. It's really important that your iron levels are pretty well balanced out. So that's what we're going to talk about today, inshallah. Um, and then, like I said, we are recording this and hopefully we will be sharing with those who are not here today. So to go ahead and get started, so there are different types of anemias, and we'll talk about what they are, and we'll talk about what how you find out if you're anemic or not. We will talk about today some of the treatments that are out there that usually providers choose, or the stuff over the counter, and then hopefully we'll talk about nutritional diet ways that one can improve their iron levels, and then we'll have chance for Q&A as well. So just to chat about the different types of anemia, or what causes anemia. Um, the first one is iron deficiency anemia, which usually occurs during pregnancy. First of all, most women, unless they're cautiously eating well, or taking some sort of a supplement, most women do at some point, are at risk of being anemic just because of the monthly menstrual cycles. And then, of course, when you're pregnant, there are various reasons why your iron could be running low, and we'll touch up on those today. So today's session is mainly, anemia due to pregnancy. So iron deficiency anemia is one of those. And during pregnancy, what happens is that your blood volume increases, which means that more iron and other vitamins or minerals are needed to make more red blood cells. So if you don't have enough iron, it can cause anemia. So iron is actually what it carries oxygen. It's the element that carries oxygen in the hemoglobin of red blood cells. So iron is very important because it's sort of what helps your body carry oxygen to where it needs to be throughout the body. So it is not considered abnormal for your red blood cells counts to fall low, especially during the second trimester of your pregnancy. This is when your red blood cells or your iron count dip a little bit low. And this is why when you first go to the hospital early in the first trimester, they do lab work to see where your initial lab is, your initial iron levels are, or hemoglobin. And then at the second trimesters, about 28 weeks, 26, 28 weeks, they will redo your iron, your complete blood cells lab work, and then it's to check your hemoglobin or your oxygen carrying blood cells. So at this point, it's normal for it to dip a little bit, but it shouldn't be significant. If if it dips significantly, your doctors will talk to you, or providers will talk to you about ways to help bring that up. But it is normal for it to dip at some point during your pregnancy. That's why you want to start at a very good level of iron when you first start your pregnancy. And then because later on it will dip a little bit. And this dipping is, like it said, it's due to the fact that your blood volume doubles during the second trimester. And this is because, you know, your growing fetus is demanding a lot on your body. And then it's also demanding a lot of oxygen for it to thrive. So during pregnancy, you need to double the amount of iron that non-pregnant women need. And we will talk about what this number looks like for non-pregnant women and then for a pregnant woman. And your body uses iron to make hemoglobin. Like we said, hemoglobin is a protein that helps carry oxygen to your tissues. Your body needs this iron to make more red blood. Your body needs this increase in iron so that it can help, supply oxygen to your baby as well. So this is why it's really, really important. And, we look at multiple times your labs to make sure that your ions are not significantly low, because there are risks that are associated with low iron levels. And we'll talk about what those risks are. Also, there are symptoms that you sometimes will report before your even provider looks at your lab. And then at any point, even between, the initial lab and also the 28 weeks lab, if you do report symptoms, your providers will probably redo your iron just to check. So there are symptoms, and those symptoms will go through them as well. If you don't have enough iron stored or get enough iron during pregnancy, you could develop iron deficiency anemia once again. The other causes of iron anemia is vitamin B12 deficiency. Vitamin B12 is important in making red blood cells and proteins in your body, and so you get vitamin B12 from eating animal products such as eggs, meats, and chicken and things like that. So that's where you get it from. And women who don't eat animal product like vegan are at a greater risk of developing this vitamin deficiency. But I have seen some vegans that are, they watch their diet so much that they don't have any issue with B12 as well, or actually iron anemia altogether. So it's really, it's all about the person's, how cautious the person is and their accessibility to get some of the things diet-wise that can help improve their anemia during pregnancy. So strict vegans often need to get vitamin B12 shots during pregnancy. Again, I have seen women who are not vegan and do require this vitamin B12 shots as well. So this is just something to keep in mind. So this is not something that's exclusive, even though it is seen more in the vegan patients. So the other deficiency is folate deficiency. Folate is a folic acid. It is a vitamin B that works with iron in our body to sort of help with growth, cell growth in particular. If you don't get enough folate during pregnancy, you could develop iron deficiency as well. Folic acids help decrease the risk of having babies with certain birth defects of the brain or spine. Therefore, during pregnancy, it's usually the prenatals that you're given. It has to have a particular amount of folic acids in it as well to help with this deficiency. So this is a good vitamin to make sure that you're getting enough of early on, because mind you, earlier in the pregnancy, that's when a lot of brain development is happening. And this is why it's essential that women get vitamins that have folic acid in them. Okay, so now we'll talk about how do you know, like, if your iron is low, if you're anemic, or what's going on. So usually when, like I said earlier, during like initial lab, once you go in to see a provider, whether you're 8 weeks, 12, whatever, 16 weeks pregnant, you will get initial lab work done. So the initial lab work done, it includes complete blood count, which includes the check for the hemoglobin. or the iron check.
Yes,
So that's one. And then the other one is checking for ferritin. Ferritin is a stored iron. So there are two different types of iron. One is the one that's in your blood, and the other one is the one that's stored in your body. So you want to make sure that if you're prone to being anemic, to ask the doctor to check both of them and not just the hemoglobin one. So for non-pregnant women, the hemoglobin level is usually expected to be 12 to 16 grams, uh, uh, what do you call, deciliter. And then for pregnant women, it's usually around 28 weeks. It's expected, this is when it dips. Again, it's expected to be between 10.5 to 15. Um, so these are the two types of irons that you want to, if sometimes you are having symptoms of like anemia and then the doctor does your lab and says, oh, your hemoglobin is actually 12, you're doing fine. You can always ask them, can you check my ferritin as well? Just to make sure, because sometimes this could be fine. The iron in the blood could be fine, but your store iron is depleted. So how much iron does a pregnant or a lactating person need? Um, the recommendation is 20 to 30 micrograms of iron is what is needed for this group. And to just give you, you know, what a gram looks like, it says the size of your palm, the size of your hand is like 8 grams. So that's just to sort of give it, you know, an idea to you. Roughly, that's about a half a cup of chicken as well, if you want to know what 8 grams of protein looks like. So you are to eat this at least, you know, 3 times a day. In the 3 meals that you eat. And the proteins, it varies. Again, it doesn't always have to be meat. It can be, you know, grain, like beans. Sometimes there's some cereal that are, you know, fortified in with iron in it as well. Some, you know, greens, definitely. Sometimes there are proteins, plant-based proteins that, you know, you can have. Yogurt has you know, amount of protein in it as well. So there's various ways that you should be able to consume iron or protein rather than just getting it from meat. So symptoms of anemia during pregnancy could vary, but these are the typical ones. You know, just a pale looking skin, lips, hands, or under the eyelid, and then numbness or cold feeling in your hands and feet, feeling tired or weak easily, like sometimes going up and down the stairs in your house make you really out of breath, sensation of like spinning or feeling dizzy. Sometimes this could happen when you get up, or it could happen while you're actually laying down sitting. Um, and then labor breathing, like really difficult, like you're having to you know, force breathing out. And then irregular heartbeat, or like a tachycardia, just it beats really really fast, not the whole time, but sometimes it will just like beat really really fast and then it'll stop without. Sometimes you could be laying down or sleeping and it would be like that. Chest pains, some will feel, mostly that goes with a fast heartbeat. And then trouble concentrating. Some people will feel that too, because mind you, oxygen, red blood cells is good for carrying oxygen to our tissues, to our organs. So if you don't have enough oxygen, then these are the symptoms that you'll be feeling, because you are not getting enough oxygen being sent to those areas to keep them well. So that is what's happening. And then symptoms of anemia can be like other health conditions. So it's very important to, you know, talk with your providers to relate this information to them. Like I said, they will do blood work even before the, you know, the second routine blood work, if you do report any of these symptoms. Who is at risk for anemia during pregnancy? So women are more likely to get anemia during pregnancy, obviously, because women are the only ones with uterus. So, and folks who are, you know, vegan or strict vegetarians do run the risk. They are at a greater risk of having deficiency, by vitamin B12 deficiency as well, this group. Some folks with some diseases like celiac and Crohn's could have issue with iron deficiency as well. And then women are more likely to get iron deficiency anemia in pregnancy if they have two pregnancies that are close together. Um, this is just because your body didn't have a time to recover. Remember, like pregnancy really depletes all the stored minerals from your body, especially if you're not, replenishing them, you're not eating well, you're not taking care of yourself during the pregnancy or after, and then you get pregnant shortly after, then that will tax your body a lot. So this is why it's really, really important for women to eat well and also to space their children as well. So that way your body gets a chance to recover and be in a primal, place before you try to conceive again. So women who are more likely to get iron deficiency are also women who are pregnant with twins or more children or babies, and then are having like they're vomiting a lot. Often they're not having, morning sickness is normal during the first trimesters. For some women, unfortunately, it lasts longer. So anytime when you're having, when you're vomiting like more than like once or twice a day, and even that is too much depending on the amount of stuff that you're bringing back up. So if you're constantly vomiting your body, you're not eating well, this can also increase your risk during pregnancy as well, which is why it's good to see your doctor early on if you're having issue keeping food down, because there are some medications that you could get to help your body, to help food settle in your body and fluids as well. Again, you are at higher risk if you are not getting enough iron from your diet or you're not taking the prenatal vitamins that is prescribed for you. Possible complications of iron, of anemia during pregnancy are not growing a baby that's at a optimum weight, like healthy size. So babies, it's good to have a baby that's about 5 pounds and 8 ounces or more. Sometimes if baby has, less than this, it will create complications for baby too when it comes out. So it could also make women have their babies early. So again, remember that your blood volume doubles because you're growing a human being. So now, and babies, they don't breathe on their own. So, and the way that they get the oxygen exchange happen is with, having a lots of red blood cells. Babies have massive amount of red blood cells, and this helps them stay healthy, get their oxygen needs met and all that stuff. So if a baby is not getting that, then that's being deprived. Baby's vital sign organs are not getting enough oxygen. So this will actually make babies to be born early. Oftentimes babies who are born early, there's something going on in utero that they can't stay. Like it feels unsafe for them to stay. That's why they come out early. So this having a low iron, being anemic during pregnancy can actually make women go into labor early. Oftentimes when I tell this to people like, they really, really freak out, and it's true. It does happen. Also, women who are anemic can also have have a low birth weight as well. So, sorry, I actually switched the top one and the bottom one. Yep. So the mom herself can have a issue gaining, healthy weight, and then also she can have a baby who is also low birth weight as well. In addition to being very tired, the person may, in addition to being very tired, the being anemic may actually keep you from recovering as quickly as possible after birth as well. Because, and then we'll talk about, there are some risks associated for being, for having low iron or anemic during pregnancy, because it has some issues. It has some risks that you could run into during the postpartum, and we'll talk about that too. So preventing anemia during pregnancy very essential. And like we touched up on earlier, one way to help from becoming anemic is making sure that you are eating very well balanced diet, that you are eating, if you're a meat eater, that you're eating, protein from meat several times a day. It's just that protein from meat is most people, it's easily accessible, and it's also the fastest way to get large amount of iron in your body. So that's one way. Like I said, eating meat is not the only way to build your iron levels. Obviously, you can be vegan and still be having a good level of iron in your body during pregnancy, and that's through leafy green veggies, cabbage. Cabbages are actually good. Most folks from from Africa or the Asian continent, we do eat a lot of cabbages, so cabbages are good. Beans are good as well, in getting good amount. And beans are good because, like all veggies, all legumes are good because they'll help you be act as a laxative too, help you move as far as like going to the bathroom too, which is really good. There are breads that have yeast in them that is also helpful, um, as far as like getting iron from. Um, Nowadays they do enrich iron in like breads and pastas and cereals. So those are some of the things that you can consume as well. For folate, good source for folate is again leafy dark green veggies, dried beans and peas. And also dried fruits are also good, like raisins. Prune is good too. Dates are also good as far as iron and goes. So citrus fruits and juices, and most berries, fortified cereal again, and then some of the grains. So with iron, what you want to do is always, when you're consuming something with a high iron in, is to always have some vitamin C with it to help with the absorption. So, hang on a second. I could swear there was another thing after this. I thought it was coming. One of the things I wanted to talk about this, the you know, the recovery, how a postpartum affects you during that recovery period is, if you're anemic and, you go into labor, when you give birth, almost everybody, there's some amount of bleeding that women do, right? Normal bleeding could be could be about a cup, or 250 milliliters, and then so on. So there's always amount of bleeding that happens during the postpartum. So even for women who are who don't have any hemorrhaging issues can still have some amount of bleeding, which is normal. And so if you're anemic already, even like 200, 250 is a lot for your body to lose. So some of the things that women who are anemic during pregnancy can have complications during the postpartum period are depression. There's a risk of increased depression in these women. There is a risk of there's a risk that it's associated in even milk, like just your milk coming in. And then also there's a risk of it associated with like infection as well, because your body takes a longer time to heal. And then, so there are some risks associated with it too during the postpartum period. Again, which is why if you've been anemic, postpartum is like when you want to step up your game, and you've been anemic and you haven't been taking care of yourself as much as you would like during the, pregnancy. Now the baby's here. This is a time when you want to eat, hopefully, there's no morning sickness now. So very important to eat, drink, and then rest as much as you can, especially those first 2 weeks after the baby comes. So some of the treatments for iron deficiency, anemia, is obviously, iron tablets that your providers will prescribe oftentimes. And then if women are late in the pregnancy, they can actually, they're this tablets that they call them mega iron tablets. It has a lot of it has a lot of iron in it. So sometimes it's harsh on your body. But then again, for women who are, 26 weeks and 36 weeks and on, who don't have longer periods of time to have their bodies take the time to, take the regular dosage of iron tablets, might not work because you don't have a lot of time, obviously. So your doctors might give that to you. Or oftentimes women, especially the ones I see, I refer them to an iron, to get an iron infusion. So this is a quicker, faster way that women can get iron, you know, um, into their system before going into labor. Again, we don't know what labor holds. This is why it's very important to get, because you don't want to get blood transfusion, because that's what will happen if you don't take care of your body during the pregnancy. And then even if we do see the labs and then you don't take iron tablets, or you don't go and get your iron infusion therapy done, then if you lose some blood, it can really put you, like, you can pass out. And if you pass out, like, it's really it's important to keep you alive. So one of the ways doctors do it is getting iron infusion, blood infusion, transfusion done, just to keep you alive. So very important to do that. So the iron infusion is like a small bag of IV medicine. It's iron that's in a small bag of IV. And women, depending on what your iron level was like, you might go in to get it once, you might go in to get it twice or three times. And then it still needs time. You will, most often women report feeling great, like right after getting the first dosage in, they report feeling like fine. They're not tired anymore. They're not sleeping everywhere anymore. So, but it does still need, time for your body to sort of build that iron that it has just been given. So I believe it could take anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks for that iron buildup to happen. But there is an instant feeling of effect for some women. So that's that. And then natural ways, as far as like, beside diet, there are things that folks take. One of them is a liquid a syrup called Floridex. And this is usually most women like this, even though it doesn't smell appealing to some, but it is plant-based, which means that the chance of it making you constipated is pretty slim. So that's something. Fuel cell tablets are actually some of the ones that doctors often give folks to as well, because it does have a really strong iron level in it. And then a blood builder mini tablets are another ones. And then there are pregnancy teas, which have like a mixture of herbs in it. So these herbs are like things like nettle, alfalfa, things that are like blood building herbs. So they are usually consumed in a tea form. Sometimes they do have, there's a person actually in Washington, I can't remember the website. I can get it to you all if you want to. She puts together these tablets called iron annihilators, and they have all these herbs that she mixes up, and then she blends them, and then she makes like a gel tablets, and the gel tablets are actually halal too. She has halal and kosher gel tablets. So there are people that do take that instead of the actually hardcore medicine the doctors give to folks. As you know, those medications can definitely cause constipation for pregnant folks. So these are the things. And I know everybody has traditional foods that sort of help with these things, but I just wanted to go over the over the counter versus what the doctors usually give to folks, and then also making sure that you're getting, it's better if you get them all through diet, because that's the best thing for you. Anytime you introduce any medications, there's always chance of like, oh, it's causing constipation. It's I'm getting burpy feeling, that it's bringing back this smell, all this. But if you can get it through diet, that's the best thing for you to do. And there are various tricks to make sure you're getting it through diet. I've had folks that, that they don't like eating fruits or, a lot of veggies during the daytime. So what they do is they make smoothies out of them. So they'll combine like spinach, berries, and then dates and yogurt, a little bit of whatever, honey, and then blend it and drink it that way. And it works for them. So whatever works for you, just do it. Best to not kill the veggies to death. So it's good to just sort of saute the veggies or like bake them. So that way they don't lose a lot of the nutrients. The other thing that's not here is that liver is actually good. It's really high in iron. It's not good to eat it every week, every day, obviously, but you can have it, here and there. But liver is a really good, it has a lot of iron in it. That's something I noticed that was missing from here. So that is that. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
I just have one question. So for I didn't even know there was this distinction. You said when your doctors draw the blood, there is like iron in the hemoglobin versus the folate. So when they draw your blood, they're not looking for both, they're just looking for one thing?
Yeah, usually when they draw your blood, they do just CBC. And CBC is just, it's hemoglobin and hematocrit. That's what they look for. But that's just the iron in your blood at the time. And then there is ferritin, which is the stored iron. So that's something that unless there's like, the person's hemoglobin levels look normal, but yet the person's still complaining about the same symptoms, even though you've given them, some suggestions, they did some dietary changes, and the issue continues, that's when most doctors are like, okay, let's check out your ferritin as well. But this is not something everyone usually does check normally. So it's really good to ask them, especially like even if you're not pregnant or, but you've had children in the past and you're going in to get your annual check, it's always good to ask them, can you check my ferritin as well, and not just my complete blood cells.
So you could be, like if you're anemic, does that mean like you lack one thing or you lack both of them? What is that?
If it's persisting, it's probably, they will look at your ferritin. And then if the ferritin is still there, then they might look at other things that are contributing to, especially if they give you medication and all that stuff and nothing is improving, there might be some other underlying medical conditions, but they'll follow up with that. Yeah, but usually for most folks, for most people during pregnancy, it is the hemoglobin that shows right away because that's what's being it's, it shows the most significant, like a fast report of what's happening in your body. You know what I mean? Because that since there's a lot of blood volume is increasing. This is what shows up really, really fast, right? So, but it doesn't hurt because I know, some providers, it's a routine thing that they do initially at the initial visit. Some they don't. So always good to ask them to, especially if you're prone to being anemic or you're doing everything that you can and it's still showing that you're anemic, you can just say, like your hemoglobins are showing to be low. You can always ask, can you check my ferritin or what are my ferritin levels to see it. So usually when there's something off with the ferritin levels, the doctors will look at multiple other things that could be contributing to your iron than just the pregnancy. But yeah, those are two things. So it's the iron in your blood and then stored iron. So there are two different types. Yeah. Any other questions?
Alaikum shukri. I have a question. As we know that some of us who's not getting pregnant, but is just wanna, like be having a sisters that who want to have a baby, but how do they, before they even trying to have a baby, how can they get better and know that their iron was right place and all that? So how can they keep up? Do they have to go to the doctor and say, okay, we want to
conceive,
go and see that way, or what can they do?
That's a good question. So what happens is, Shukri, the oftentimes, like folks in our community, they don't, but I've seen people who actually go to the hospital as a couple and just talk to their doctor and or their midwife, do they call a fertility consultation. They want to get pregnant, and so they want to know how to prime their bodies, right? So they want to know how to eat right. They want to know how to, to make sure their chances of conceiving is like greater when they try. So so yeah, you get your blood draw taken, like the annual check, because they look at everything. You'll get that taken, and then the doctor or the midwife will talk to you about where you're low, because again, some women actually, there are issues of conceiving if your iron levels are so low. Some women cannot even, like, there is a level of infertility associated with low iron levels as well. So very important to just sit with your doctor and then do what you need to do, like the folic acid, which is good for the brain development of the babies. It's actually recommended for you to start taking before you conceive, right? So that your body is in a good place. But most people, they go, in after they realize they're pregnant, which is still fine. But it's really, really good when you're thinking of conceiving to actually meet with a doctor and then sit with them and then do what they tell you to do. Your provider's guidelines as far as like eating well, drinking to just build your body at a very optimum level. And then you can actually start taking the prenatals before you even conceive as well. So there is there is such thing as like taking too much iron, so which is why it's always good to get it checked to see where you're at. Maybe you're one of the fortunate ones that your body is doing great. You don't need anything at that moment, but almost everybody needs to be cautious about what they eat when you get pregnant, because remember, when you're pregnant, this is why it's important to have your body at a very prime stage to start with, because what happens is when you get pregnant, whatever that you're eating, you're not eating it for the baby. Actually, you're eating it to replenish what your baby is taking out of your body, whatever was in there before, so it's really important so that you can stay healthy, so that way you're not having that pale skin, that chopped lips, all this stuff. You're not feeling excessively tired or unable to sleep, whatever. So it's really good to start at a very good level. And this is how you do it. You go in to your doctor just like you would when you conceive. So, and then you tell them that that's what you want to do, what suggestions they have and what labs do they want you to run and all that stuff. So that's a good place to start.
One more thing. I'm not sure if this is related, but I do see a lot of my friends who their daughters having their period doesn't come. I hope you talk about this some other time. That got like 6 months, 7 months, that she's only a 17, and then for only having a period maybe 2 years or 3 years, and the period lasts. I mean, won't come like 6 months. She won't get anything. And then I do see my relative, my sisters, that something like that happened to them. And then they wait so long. And then when they trying to have a family, it cost them dearly because of their body wasn't, they did not having their period time. I mean, the time that every month, like everybody got 28 days or whatever. So is that related also? Is that something related for the?
So that, like, sometimes that could be something to do with their like thyroids and stuff, especially when periods are playing hide and seek with folks, young women. So they definitely need to get checked out. So iron usually is like, some women have heavy bleeding, like some girls, they have heavy bleeding to the point like where they can't even function, like everyday work, you know what I mean, like going to school, going to work is an issue. So young women like that should really, really be, cautious of monitoring what they eat, and then also monitoring their iron levels as well. And as a matter of fact, once they do that, I'm more confident that their providers will put them in some sort of a iron tablets or something as well to just help. But as far as folks like having issue with their periods, that's usually, to my knowledge, it's not associated with less iron. It's more of like there's something else going on hormonally, like there's some imbalance happening. So again, which is why you need to go in to to get these things checked out. I knew of young women like that who actually started taking birth control pills to help to help set the cycle to normal for her, because she was having issues of like not having her period. Like in a year, she'll have like 3 or something like that. And so that's what they did to sort of make it consistent. So there are other things that could definitely be going on. So which is really, really why it's good when, you know, couples get married and they're ready, you know, to have a children, to just go in, have a chat with the doctors, and then see what the recommendations are.
Thank you.
Yeah, but our hope is actually we would love to do one for like the just youth and like cycles and some of the things that, some of the, you know, remedies that can help and things like that, because there are some young women that are really, really debilitated with their cycles, and we would love to, you know, do something with them as well, and then just, you know, talking to them about some of this information, but more just to non-pregnant, you know, youths as well.
Yeah, I believe those young ladies, because I know like maybe 3 or 4 sisters that I know that her kids, her daughter is having that issue. And then when you say, I mean, you say that birth control is the one of the things that they use it to set it to the, and when they heard that, the mom heard, oh, why birth control?
Yeah, she freaks out.
So,
yeah.
yes, so it would have been nice. I don't know a lot, but it would have been nice that if you guys can have one time talk about
Yeah.
things like this, and then have information, because it is because stressed out. I mean, the young ladies today is having a hard time for going to college, university, doing this and all that, and pressure. So I believe that plays also, maybe their body hormones play that. So
yes, definitely. No, this is something that we're thinking about doing, Shirley, and we'll let you know, so you can help, you know, advertise and let the young women come and attend it too. Because, and the other thing actually that we want to incorporate with that session is just like a healthy, you know, what does a healthy vagina look like? You know what I mean? And some of the things that, you know, that young women can experience, you know, like yeast infection, right? And what's that? And like, what do you need to do about that? And things like that. And a little bit of like some of the STIs that we would love to, you know, cover as well. So I don't know, what do you all think? Do we need to have like permission from their parents to, I don't know, or should we just put a session like this and then just whoever comes and we can talk, just provide a general talk?
Yeah, I can say this one thing. As we're gonna be having these issues at school, and then school will teach them a lot of stuff. It's better for the parent, I believe, to have that now, for someone you comfortable, someone who can explain to you language, to have you this at least to start with you, unless that you are waiting for school to teach your kids something that you do not know but they know, so and they cannot explain to you.
True. Yeah. And the thing is that like the parents can come, like the mom can come to the sessions too. So it's not just for, you know, because there are things that, you know, that happen, you know, just having a healthy, you know, female reproductive, what does that look like, you know, and things like that. And I know even with this is like, for a long time, I really wanted to talk about contraceptions with the youngsters, but there's that scare, you know, there's that hesitation of like, will the community think we're pushing their kids to have, you know what I mean, sex outside of marriage, you know, and things like that. Like you were just saying, mom refusing for her daughter to be on medications because her daughter's periods are irregular, you know. So
I don't be, because if some of us who has a high schooler knows that when you go to the building, the high school building, there's a condom everywhere. So what are you saying about that then?
Ugh.
Your kids are seeing this for the office, for the bathrooms. So are you trying to say we can tell your kids information, and you set around for somebody, your kids already know things, but you do not know, and there's no communication for that, so they cannot talk about this, and the school's teaching them, their friends are teaching them?
That is so true. Seriously, that is so true. We do need our kids to be aware of this stuff.
So whatever you think that we can benefit, don't take it back and say, oh, what is going to happen? I mean, if that's what is going to happen, then we're gonna lose a lot of kids that need to that information from us.
True. Information is power, you know. So when you know it, you can make better decisions, you know. Yeah, yeah. No, we'll definitely, you're giving me the courage to push through, and
Yeah.
yeah, but we would love to put together something for the youth, and just, yeah, for young ladies, and just talk about it, definitely.
I
Yeah.
say
Thank
not
you.
just for young ladies, but for young men too, you know?
Yeah.
And
True.
just to add to that also, I mean, when our kids are watching TV or they're on the internet, you know, they see certain things and, you know, they don't know how to interpret that information or how to take it. And it's kind of taboo at home and in the community. So that doesn't give them a place to really express themselves or like, you know, talk about these things. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, true, true. Yeah, no, oh my God, our boys need something to, like, it's not just the girls, but yeah, but most often it's the moms who always talk to their daughters, you know what I mean, and not the boys. And so yeah, there's a lot that we can cover as far as this stuff goes, but I really, really do want to um because, like, just like anything in our bodies, anything can happen in that area, in that women's private areas. And so you want to be able to let women, young ladies, know that this is normal and this is not normal. And if it's something that's not normal, then they should talk to their mom about, so
Yeah.
that they can get the
One of the things that, as I am the older mother, but one of the things that for me to, and that I concern sometimes is what our kids know, like app. I say like,
Mhm.
what, so we say app. So how did that you say app for them, but
Yes,
you the one who feel app, not the kids.
I
So
know.
the kids knows that because they have the
So true.
education in the school, and
Hmm.
they have the education from the, I mean, the telephone that they always carry in this phone, the cell phone,
Yes.
they carry all the information. Anything, if my daughter, anything that she want, before she goes come to me, she Google it, so that way she has those information. So why not
Mhm.
give it to, tell her that, okay, this is how I feel, mommy, and if the Google says the same thing, then I know the information then.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. No, true. Like, it's really, because we make it such a taboo. Anything that has to do with, like, even the I have heard some some women who don't even like to talk about this with their daughters, and even to their with their spouses, like when they're menstruating, they don't want to mention anything about that. And this is normal, and our kids need to know this. Not just girls, the boys need to know too, that this is,
That
yeah.
is a normal, and the country we in. We're not in
Hmm.
Somalia anymore. We're not where the place that you hide everything, and
True.
not supposed to be hidden. But where we hear, when our kids leave this door and leave you, they know so much information that you could
Hmm.
give it to them, and they can feel better to be staying home, and says, "Oops, my mom told me that. I already
I
know
know.
that." So then when somebody tells them, and they say, "Aha, give me more," and they
I
go that
know.
person.
Oh my God. So true. So true.
Yeah.
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 It is so true. Yeah.
So,
No.
so do it. We can. I believe. I mean, we can put their ears and say, We need this information. We need this because our kids are teenager now. Our
Hmm.
kids are almost getting married now. They need that information now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Seriously, like, so true. I had this young couple I was seeing few months ago, and the they're from Africa, and the young guy was like, why are most African, like, folks, like, anemic? Like, why, what's going on? And I was like, that's a really good question. And I said, this is something that I see in most of our women. And I was like, and I talked to this other midwife. She's African American midwife, and she's like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, most African American women are also anemic during pregnancy too. And so it comes down to, like we need to pause, and we need to take care of ourselves, you know and so this is something, it's not just us dealing with it, but pregnancy is actually a time also too that your body is like, it will tell you what's going on with it. The same thing if you have gestational diabetes. True, most women, when they give pregnant give birth, it goes away. But the thing is, it's your body's way of telling you, you need to change something about yourself, otherwise this is where you're headed. So
Oh,
pregnancy, actually, yeah, it's a time when your body will show you its true colors. So it's really it's a good time to develop a good habit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I remember that, again, a lot of, and including myself, that when I get pregnant, they say that, oh, you have that, you are almost pre-diabetic, and then make sure that you don't and now I mean, it's my youngest is a 10 years old, and now I'm doing the same thing for 10 years. I'm trying to, I mean, do the exercise, eat right. I mean, it's just a battle of the battle. It's never stop. It's just because of in my genes, but because my dad, Allah yarhamah, has that, he was diabetic. So it's just not something that is gonna leave me, no matter how much it's always constantly. So for us, and also I think Somalis women, we eating all this food and eating all this, and our genes is already have that, just like African Americans that things that you have that. So it is constantly, it's something that you always have to look what you eating, always have to check what is sugar, but not too malawah. I mean, I know people like malawah, but not too much.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
things
true.
like that we need to let them know that if we want to survive, and then being and showing our kids how they can survive here too, not to eat cheap stuff, and then not to buy so many chips and all this, and what kind of milk that you need to drink, what kind of
Yeah.
how. But my kids, they don't, sometimes when I put in some green stuff, they were like, no mommy, too much green, why do we have to everyday green? So if we don't make that habit, they're not gonna have that home when they have their own homes.
Yes, true. True. Yeah, it's so true. No, we really need to, like, that's why you constantly have to introduce something different, like different veggies, because you're right, because our diet is just it's disaster. Our diet is a disaster for diabetes, high blood pressure, and all that. So yeah, but we need to really fix it, eating right, and you're right, it has historically, this has a lot to do with what we eat, and what we eat comes from, like, how much money you have. Can you afford good things? You know what I mean? Like, because you can get a tub of butter for the same amount as, like, 6 ounce, you know what I mean? Like 6 ounce of butter, because it's such a good quality. You know what I mean? So, and most people, they can't afford that. They want to, just something that can feed the family, rather than, we're not often focused on, like, the nutrient effect of the food. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So yeah, but it's really important to pause and think about what you're putting in your child's body, and in
yeah.
your body
I
too.
I
Yeah.
can I can see that, even being anemic, I can see the kids, like, if you sometimes, I remember when I works, when my days that I have a lot of time, I don't have a lot of time to cook. I will be like 5 o'clock. Let's go. I'm gonna just let's go into McDonald's. Okay, what do you want? A chicken. So if I give them, even if 2 days that
Yeah.
I give them, I can tell my kids their lips will become white. I can
Uh-huh.
even feel it the way they feel. So
Yes.
even today she was like, I don't remember, mommy, it was 2 years since I ate McDonald's. I was like, good, because we don't need it anymore.
Oh my
So
God.
the food also play a lot why our kids has the anemic, why we have
Yeah.
anemic, because the food that we eat also caused that. I believe
Yep.
that. I just learned that. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So
it's like these folks, they are so, like, kids are not eating good iron, so they started adding them in cereals and breads and things like that, because the processed food is so depleted of nutrients that they're having to add them in so the kids can actually get that. So good if you can make traditional foods, but not using white flour, obviously, you know what I mean, and minimizing it and things like that. Yeah, but and not purchasing some of these bad stuff, like that's what we do at my house. We don't purchase sodas unless we're having, like, a party or something. And then yeah, and like Capri Suns and things like that, we don't purchase it on, often.
I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a things, but I'm just gonna say, there's the things that I learned a lot because I work a lot of white people, so
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things for them.
Uh-huh.
So one of the things was those waters, Brooklyn water. I hated drinking them, but now they're my
Yeah.
best friends. So I have that in my table now, like everything, and my kids say they have no
Good.
sugars. It's
There you
only
go.
yes. This is what. So now I never.
Mhm.
I'm not a soda person, but now my kids are drinking because this is what they see, and it has
Yes.
no sugar on it. There's nothing on it. I was like, how do they drink this stuff?
Yeah.
Finally it came to me, and I was like, yeah, you just
Yeah.
need a water that just like, it's just, you don't need a sugar. So
Yeah.
things
It's a
that you can learn
substitute.
people, that sometimes how they behave there, eating what they, I mean, I say, I just look at them and I say, they're drinking this. There's no taste. And it's so, when you go to a Costco, it's $14 for, but when you buy it Coke or whatever, it's only $5 for the whole 24.
See, that's how you know.
And I was like, why $14? And this is a cheap. This is getting, because it's sugar and water here.
That's right. Yeah, massive is not always good. I was one thing speaking of learning things from other folks, one grain I learned is like the quinoa. You know the quinoa grain?
Yes.
Like I've never eaten it up until like, you know, some of the clients I work with, you know, they bring that up and, you know, this is stuff they eat instead of rice and this and that. And I was like,
yeah,
what is this? Yeah. And I ate it and I like it a lot.
So
it really is so good. Huh?
Yeah. It's so good. And they actually, you know, do different things with them nowadays. Like they mix them with brown rice.
Yeah. Yeah. See, there's always things. Yeah. So always things you can learn to substitute what you got going, which is beautiful. How what types of traditional foods that you all eat as far as like iron building foods go?
Are you asking everybody or asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking all of you, including you. Yeah.
For me, last 5, I will say for last 10 years, I was always taking vitamins, for multivitamins. And for me, going to every month, the food, it depend on, I always make it and spinach. So every morning, like if I don't make this morning and spinach, little bit like I do blush, like I put it the yanya like, and then make it, just put it the spinach in one, like 1 minute, then take it out and then eat it with whatever wheat or whatever I had in a little bit. And so sometimes chapati, sometimes, but for me, mostly I always tell myself, just buy some grain stuff. It doesn't matter, different grain stuff in the morning and make it. And every morning when I have my breakfast, I have to have some grains. What, it doesn't matter what they are. Yeah. So my kids, it comes out that sometimes I will make a lasagna. I will make a little bit pasta and mix it with that. So, and also the salad. I always make it salad to make them like, oh, okay, if you want to eat something, at least start a salad. Let's do the salad, and then we can go to the next grain. If you like salad, you will love the other one. And they were like, no, we don't like salad. Okay, then you have to eat this other. So it's always constantly home. I'm the only one who eats, but I have to force them. Yeah. And then because of every year, I also, same thing that you were talking about, that go to your doctor, your routine. I always got that my blood draw, and then I always check. They always check my my sugar level and all that. So that how I know that. Perfect. My iron and all that.
Yeah. No, that's really good. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, that's really good. Just incorporating it in your meals, and then kids will learn. They'll eat what you eat.
Yeah, it's the thing is, if the young ones, they will, until they start driving and until they want to go, and then they see the older one come and bring some food outside, and they were like, she's eating this, why me? I know, so I have that issue. I only have 2 girls, but I imagine having 5 kids and 6 kids, and then see some of them ones outside, and so I always, when I have some issue with my kids, I always think about it. The other mothers who has more than me, how do they go through? So always I have that issue, like, oh my God, you go through. How about the person, the other mom who has 5 kids? How about when she has 7 kids? What is she doing? I mean, she's getting more headache than I am.
Yeah. So true. So true. Yeah. But those mom will tell you though, 2 and 6 are the same for them. Oh so, my. Yeah.
I heard that, but I always feel bad for them. I don't know why.
Yeah. True. Yeah. What's her name? Taylor wrote in the chat box, yeast, nutritional yeast. Taylor, do you want to talk a bit about that? I want to see who else wrote something in the chat.
I will say something. This is Asia. Hi, everyone. For us, it's digger, beans. Yeah, ambula. That is our iron thing.
Mm-hmm.
Spinach, and also like hamburgers. That is one thing that they love, and I make a homemade one
Mm-hmm.
from the organic grass fed beef.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one thing that I give it to the kids at least twice a week, and
Yeah.
sometimes make it like a homemade kebab kind of thing too.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also yeah, that's
Awesome.
what I when I want them to eat. That's one way they like it when I do it that way, the meat. But if I make our traditional stew or they won't touch it, the meat.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
okay, we don't know this thing. Yeah.
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 Good
Hmm.
idea. Yeah, I never think
Yeah. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But they love the kebab, whether it's from like lamb or beef.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
would eat it. They will, like everybody will be on all over it. And the burgers with cheeseburger, homemade, grilled, that's it. They're
Mm-hmm.
good to go. Meatballs,
Yeah.
meatballs. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Sarada
Mm-hmm.
makin maraqa caadiga iyo sugada caadiga ah. Yeah.
Ha.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
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 Sugadan also ground beef. Marka ku samays bastada, kaas
Mm-hmm.
ataa way cunayaan. It's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they like that way. They like that way.
Ha.
They
That's
like
right.
that way.
Yeah.
Pasta, the yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a
Awesome.
question for Faisal. For
Yeah.
now, knowing that I heard that when you have a low iron, if you like have a suqar, like in
Mm-hmm.
the morning, I heard some people who eat suqar, but in the other side they got and they got how do I say, and then high cholesterol.
Cluster. I was just gonna say that. Hey.
You see,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe stop this. Then maybe use cholesterol. I just say maybe. I didn't even know that. But and then I say, what? Stop 1 month. Don't eat this beef every morning for breakfast, and see if that causes the high cholesterol. But
Maybe they need to be eating spinach and cabbages, increasing their veggies,
oh,
and then their exercise so that they can, yeah. But I mean, even with people with cholesterol, they can still have, protein. It just has to be lean protein. Nothing like burro, you know what I mean? Like a lot of fat in
that
it. So,
I is that cost? You think that cost it? Because I just made it. I just say, what do you eat for breakfast? Oh, every morning we do a little bit sugar, and then right there we just eat. I was like, okay, maybe this is what caused it. Then they went to the hospital. Her and her husband cholesterol went up. It's like, what happened? What are you guys eating? So every morning sugar.
yes, they need to. Yeah, I would like. I know Somali person. You can't tell them to take away their meat. I would just increase it. You know what I mean with other vegetables. Like yeah, but yeah. I mean they can have beans. Still be getting like or leafy green veggies. They can
Yeah.
still be getting their iron and then also lowering their cholesterol that way too. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I would do. I
Yeah.
think Taylor wanted to say something too about that. The what is it? What was something about the yeast? Oh yeah, the nutritional yeast.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I'm just getting home.
Walaikum salam. Welcome.
Yeah, I just put the nutritional yeast in like the salads, and I sprinkle it on everything, like the kids' mac and cheese, and just because we're vegan, so it's hard, to incorporate it. So I try to put it in anything I can.
Can you explain to folks how that is different than the actual yeast that we use to levitate bread?
It's got a lot more nutrients, and it's got tons of B vitamins, and it's a good substitution for like cheese. Like when you put it on your food, it makes things cheesier. But yeah, it's filled with great nutrients, and it's not that and it's fairly inexpensive.
Yeah, it's good for the gut too. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Taylor. Yeah, there are various things that different people do. It always really intrigues me. What, well, Cheltu, is there anything dietary wise that that your community eats to sort of help build iron levels? Chelsea's probably busy with the baby. Let me see. I think she's written something. Oh yeah, liver and beets. Yep. Yeah, beets are good too. Yeah, beets are really good. Awesome. Yeah, I'm actually I'm in the process of putting together a postpartum nutrition, like a little booklet. I'll share it with you all once that's done. But it's really like you could really restore your health just through eating well. So Cheltu adds, and when it comes to meat, I think having towards grass-fed meat. Yep. Yeah. It's really, really good if you can get those. But I've also heard like just halal meat itself is like people who don't eat halal meat buying it. I've heard people saying that it's actually way better. It tastes better. And it also, you know, it's fresh, especially the ones that you get to, you know, go and slaughter or have it delivered to you. So, yep. Lentils. Cheltu says lentils as well. Lentils are awesome way to getting things. For me, it's during pregnancies, anything you can eat things that will build your iron levels while at the same time like it's easier for you to go to, because most iron levels, they make women constipated, and that's you don't have room in there, so you don't want anything that sort of has food settle in with you. So perfect. Yeah. Well, awesome.
I was gonna say, we do a lot of smoothies. So if they refuse to eat certain veggies, we just kind of put it in the smoothie and serve it that way. Or put spinach in the, what do you call it? What did someone say? The kebabs or something?
Yeah.
And like, okay, yeah, you can go ahead and eat the meat. They don't know what they're eating. It's like delicious. Okay, great.
And carrots. Yeah, you can shred carrots in those. That's really, really smart.
Yep.
Yeah. That is really smart. That's what I do with my meatballs. I put a lot of carrots. I put a lot of onions and fresh garlic. And yeah, and I just roll them, put them in the oven before I you know, put them in the sauce. And they love it. And you're like, okay, there's like cup and a half of carrot in there. So that's really good. Adding yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I've also like seen smoothies with folks that are like swear on it. I had a client who she was like, whenever I'm told my iron is low or my children's iron is low, she's like, I just take out the smoothie maker. And she said, I just get baby spinach from Costco, whatever berries in the season. And, you know, she just puts it in there with some yogurt and dates. And she was like, I give everybody glass. And she said, next time we go back to the hospital, everyone's iron is, you know, back to normal. And that's what she does. I was like, that's really impressive. So there's a lot of ways you can sneak things in children now, which is good. Yeah. Awesomeness.
You can also include baby spinach in a smoothie. My son loves drinking that. Like I will put other frozen vegetables in it, like from Costco, peaches and mangoes and whatnot. And then put a couple of handfuls of spinach and 2 bananas, a little bit of honey, and that's it. They got their vegetable servings.
Oh, yeah.
And also they have their, he loves drinking it. Even Zainab gets into the action.
Yeah.
She calls it green drink. So I'm like, yeah, green drink. Yes, it's good.
That's really good. That's really good, actually. And I have, you just reminded me, I have also heard people putting in some peanut butter too for protein.
Yeah,
you know,
anything you want, just add them that they like. They love it.
They'll eat it. Yeah.
Milk, yeah.
Yeah. You know, there are a lot of tricks that we can really. Maybe we should have a session of like, how do you hide veggies and fruits in your child's daily meals? Yeah. Seriously, that's really clever. Yeah. Awesome. Well, unless anyone has anything else to say, I thank you all for coming, and I'm gonna stop this recording. There we go. Did I stop it? I haven't yet. Here we go. Yeah. What do I say?